I can somehow get this team to the playoffs. But once we get there, it's not going to be pretty.
And feel like this 6-3 means something moving forward. Is that only a Kenny Pickett issue?
The Pittsburgh Steelers are doing something that we have never seen before. As I've said literally a million times, Mike Tomlin just knows how to freaking win games. As a Browns fan, which I know may turn a lot of you off, there's just something about this team that allows them to win games that they shouldn't win. Like, people always say the Browns Stadium was built on an Indian burial ground or something like that because of how cursed we are, but for Pittsburgh, it was literally the opposite. Like, everything always goes their way nearly every single season. But realistically, I can blame luck all I want. The reality is that they just have good coaching and are a well-run organization, and because of that, they are always relevant. They're just a super gritty team, and they will hang around even against the top teams in the league, and because of that, they're able to steal a few games they should have lost every season. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the Pittsburgh Steelers, recapping their win over the Green Bay Packers, and talking about what's next for this team because they now sit at 6-3 with the biggest game of the year coming up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. Alright, so starting off with the game recap, the Steelers did most of their offensive damage on the ground and with Chris Boswell field goals. Both Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren found the end zone in this game, and each of them had double-digit carries. It was kind of a slow start to the season for Najee, so it's nice to see him finally start to get going. Kenny Pickett completed just 14 of 23 pass attempts for 126 yards through the air, so the Steelers running backs were of course the stars of this one to lead their offense to victory. TJ Watt landed his 88th career sack in this game, passing his brother JJ Watt for the second most sacks in a player's first 100 games. Watt now has 10.5 sacks on the season. Watt also led the Steelers defense with 8 total tackles on the day. An interception by Neal in the end zone with under 4 minutes to go was pretty huge, and on the final play of the game, it was Damontae Kazee who came up with an interception to seal the win. Both Kazee and Neal saw an increase in playing time, with Minkah Fitzpatrick missing his second straight game. This win wasn't pretty, but ultimately, it's a win. And I'm so sick and tired of Steelers fans who find a way to complain about a win because Tomlin has brought this team so much success and continues to do so. And what he's done shouldn't be forgotten, even in mediocre seasons. Like, you know how many fan bases there are that would love to have 2 decades straight of winning seasons? And also, I think Matt Canada gets a ton of unnecessary hate because although he isn't the greatest, he really doesn't have that much to work with, and this team is always set up in position to win. I also gotta say, I love Matt Canada being down there on the sidelines. I absolutely love it. Now there's more than one guy in Pickett's ear all game, and everyone can bounce ideas off each other. And if this offense does somehow happen to get in any sort of a rhythm before the end of the season, then look out, because they're already winning ugly games, so if they could score close to 30 points, it's almost an automatic win. Before I end off this video, I want to talk a little bit more about the 1-2 punch of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, because out of nowhere, they now have become one of the best rushing backfields in the whole league, and the last 4 games is where they really started to turn some heads. It just didn't make sense why they were struggling so much early with how talented Najee is and the fact that Warren averaged 4.9 yards per carry last season, so I knew they were going to turn it around. Also, I gotta give credit to the Steelers receiving core because it's gotta be frustrating to not get a lot of production on the stat sheet, but for the most part, outside of that George Pickens incident, these guys play for each other and will help the team win in whatever way they can. That's really all I gotta say for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you've thought about the Steelers so far this season, and drop your predictions for the upcoming Browns game, because it's about to be a wild one. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly means the world. And until next time, I will see you all later.